Ladies and gentlemen, in this episode, I have a triple threat. This guy, he's brokered successful sponsorship deals, monetizing multiple podcasts. He runs live shows all over social media. Like, he gets up at 4:30 every day just to stay ahead of you and me because he kicks ass, and that's what he does. He's the biggest Amazon influencer I know, and he's making money hand over fist. And hopefully he's going to teach us a little something by the end of this. This guy is my hero. He's my hero. And he loves fishing. Everybody, Billy Thorpe is here. She's in the basement today after this.
Let's go. Turn up the volume. From the basement of the Empire State. This is the Basement Surge.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Basement Surge, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me today. I have a great episode planned for you. Like I said in the intro, Billy Thorpe is here. We're going to talk a little bit about being an Amazon influencer, how to get there, what it's like, and like playing with new toys, because I like toys. But before we get into that, do me a favor. If you're watching us over on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and ring that bell to get notified of fresh episodes of the Basement Surge. I'm going to bring Billy in now. Let's see what he's got to say. Billy, thank you very much for joining me today.
What's up, John? Man, thanks for having me, dude. Quite the intro. maybe John, maybe you put a little extra on that. Okay, I appreciate it though. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, we were cracking up. You're like the biggest Amazon influencer that I know. I'm like, oh, thank God he did that. Thank God he put that little thing.
Well, you are, man.
that you know. I love it. Yeah,
that's right. You are the biggest Amazon influencer I know. So, and you and I have been friends for, I want to say, like 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm very surprised that this is the first time you and I are actually doing an episode together, because you have been kicking ass all over, first the podcasting space, then the Clubhouse, and then like now you're kicking ass as an Amazon influencer. Like, it's awesome, man. You're doing a great job.
Dude, I'm just a guy who's dumb enough to keep showing up. I'm like, whatever I have to do to punch my own time clock and not someone else's. Like, so who knows? Next year I might be shoveling dog crap out of my neighbor's yard to make a buck. Who knows?
Well, winter is almost over, so I'm sorry. You're gonna have to stop your snow shoveling routine.
Dude, I live near the beach, man. We don't get any snow. We don't get.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You're down south.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I'm way south, man. I'm like, forget. And if it keeps getting any colder, I'm going to move further south. That's the deal.
Right. I don't blame you, man. I used to live in Florida, and I missed the winter time.
How did you move? How did you leave Florida to go back up north where it's freezing cold all the time?
I like the snow. Like, I'm a snow bunny. Like, I'm born in February. Like, my birthday's coming up. So it's like I'm trying. I always tried to get back up north and get home. I like the seasons. Florida doesn't have 4 seasons.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they have hot, and then they have rain.
They have hot, real hot, and rain and smug.
Right. Oh man, Billy, thank you so much for coming on. Like, seriously, I'm so surprised. Like, I never had you on the show before.
Well, dude, I think one time I jumped on like some kind of I can't remember. It was maybe a year or so ago. I don't even know if it was this show or another live show you're doing. I mean, you're all over the internet as well, so I don't know what it was, but I do remember jumping on like impromptu, like onto a live stream with you. But then, yeah, to do an official show, it's good to be here. Right.
Yeah. I think I was doing another podcast on teaching people how to bring your podcast to a vodcast and introducing video and everything. So you were helping me out on that. We had done a room on Clubhouse together.
Oh yeah.
Which I had tried to turn into an episode, but I don't want to talk about my failures, because you're pretty successful in the space, man. Like,
let's talk about mine. I got some. I'll share.
No, man, like the last thing I mentioned in that intro was you like fishing. Okay, so now the podcast that I known you for was your fishing podcast, right?
Yep.
And you were always talking about how you were trying to teach people how to monetize the show and how to bring on sponsors and all of that. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what is it? Because we don't have any sponsors. We have affiliates. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. One is commission sales. The other one is like a W-2 job. Okay. So,
Right.
well, man, I think first of all, like the fishing show that I started, I started a live stream fishing show. That was the very first one. It was designed to be a live show on Facebook every single week. And we did that. My co-host and I did. There's a lot of history. I mean, not a lot of history there, but it was a lot of stuff we didn't do right. We didn't set it up right. We didn't have clear expectations. So I ended up leaving that show after about 25 episodes, luckily with not a black eye or bruised up face, because we were like going at each other about,
Oh no.
the live show. But through that, all of our audience was like, you guys should just create a podcast. And so that's how I got into the podcasting game, was taking the audio from the live show and repurposing it as a podcast. And then fast forward a few months, I own a t-shirt printing business. The pandemic hits. My business basically just goes quiet. Like it goes quiet. Did a bunch of like canceled orders. And then another friend of mine who's also in the fishing space, and he already had a fishing publication, but he didn't have anything online. So he was like, hey, like we got together and was like, let's do a show together. I got all the digital stuff. You have all the relationships with like captains and all this through North Carolina. And so let's just replicate your fishing publication onto a podcast. And so I thought, man, this is just going to blow up, like, because he's already got an audience and everything. But I didn't realize the people who like read a fishing newspaper and people who listen to podcasts are two different breeds. I didn't know. So it was a little bit of an uphill climb, but we started off, right out of the gate saying, hey, we want to sponsor this thing. We want to get this thing sponsored. We want to make money.
Right.
My business was suffering. He was unsure what his business was everybody was unsure during that 2020 year. And man, so we just put together a plan, and I just went out and read every article about how to sell a sponsorship deal, and every one of them said you got to have a ton of followers. And I'm like, well, obviously I don't, so I got to figure out how to put this sales pitch a little bit different. And so so I focus on the quality, not the quantity. And a lot of content creators will focus on the quantity, and they'll think, well, I got to build this thing up for 3, 4, 5 years before I can make money, because you got to have this big audience. And what my approach in simplest form was, I'm going to go after brands and deals and sponsorship deals by the quality of the audience, to say, hey, I'm matching this up perfectly with who you want to target. And so, we didn't have a huge audience. We got sponsored at episode number 5. We did 140 episodes. Wow. 135 of them were all paid sponsorships on there. And so, yeah, man, it was good, but it was work. It was creative thinking. And then it was showing up and putting in the reps to like, it was kind of like getting prepaid for something we weren't really sure, like what's going to happen. And however, we kept showing up and kept doing the deal, kept doing the episodes, and our sponsors were happy. And that show, I think they're going to bring that show back, but I stopped doing that show to get into the Amazon stuff more heavily. So that's kind of the history of that podcast.
You brought up a really great point, where it's like, a lot of podcasters think that, you have to have thousands or millions of downloads per episode, to get sponsorships. And a lot of podcasters sleep on the fact that, you don't have to wait. Like you can just go from day one, be like, all right, I have a super great idea. And if you're, I think, like a good salesman or vibrant and passionate enough about what you're talking about, you can really sell anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And I think you have to find the right connections and the right relationships. I think too many people are, like, oh, I got this podcast and I'm going to go after like the biggest name. When we think of a sponsor, we think of whatever, we think of like some huge corporate names or whatever. Now, we didn't do that. We went after a really localized boat dealership. They got a couple of different locations. They're already super involved in sponsoring tournaments and parades and everything else. And if people are already used to spending marketing dollars and you can go through and say, hey, I saw you're part of the Christmas parade. I saw you're part of this tournament. I saw you're part of that event. Now we're creating
Right.
another event, but it's online. It's in a form of a podcast. We think you would be an amazing fit for this show and to help us, another local business, another local, whatever. And we went really that localized thing, but every community has its own like group of people and people who want the attention of that audience. And so I think it's really getting clear on who you're talking to on your show,
Mm.
and then really getting clear of like what sponsor is going to benefit from them and vice versa. Like, how do you get this trifecta, relationship going
Mm.
between you as a host, your sponsor, your audience, and really create a community overall? And that's what we did. And we did it super quick. And then, from that, we were able to take that community and take sponsorship deals. And we quickly realized, like, okay, we can only put so many sponsors. We only want to put so many sponsors on our show. Now, I know there's several shows out
Okay.
there where the first 5 minutes they're just rattling off sponsors forever,
Right.
and that's totally cool. And if you can do that and your audience doesn't care, then go for it. But we didn't want to do that, and so we're like, how do we create more revenue with this podcast? And then we started creating a membership group where we then charged, like, I don't know, $10 a month or whatever, and provided an additional
Mm.
episode per week to that audience, but it was just a little bit different. So the episode,
Right.
the content, and man, we were able to grow that. I think when I left, it was over 300 people. So it was pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. It was,
Wow. And then making that extra episode, like it's a lot of work. Like it's a ton
it
of
depends
work.
on how you do it. So we produce stuff very much like what you do, like live to drive. That's how I produce everything. Every piece of content that comes across this desk is live to drive. I barely
Right.
edit. I try not to touch the editing suites at all unless I'm just doing something for social media. But
Mm.
dude, we did that and we were like, we got to have a plan where it's quick. Now it's still work, but it's not as much work as like full blown editing a show or taking out all the ums and ahs. And also, we knew our
Yeah.
audience. Our audience, not sound audio engineers. They're fishermen. They're
Mhm.
people who are pretty rough around the edges. If they,
Right.
if they can find the play button on their podcast player, we've accomplished something great. So, they're very smart, intelligent group of people, just not very techy. So that's the difference.
That's okay. That's all
Yeah.
right.
So you got to just figure that part out. It's like figure out who your
Yeah,
audience is
yeah.
and make it simple.
Yeah.
Make it really simple. Yeah.
So so I think that I think you can teach me a couple of things for the Basement Surge, because I don't really have a niche. I don't want to niche
Yeah.
down the Basement Surge. Like I talk about whatever I want. I talk about whatever my interests are. Right now, you piqued my interest on being an Amazon influencer, so I'm like, hey Billy, come on the show, let's do this. So for me, I think it's kind of hard for me to go and get the big advertisers, like you said. I like to promote my show as being from Brooklyn, New York. So like you said, I'm approaching local mom and pop shops and trying to get sponsorships that way.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, you can build your show around that. You can build your show around like a local business highlight or something of that nature. As long as you have
Right.
that local aspect to it, and that's another thing too, is like, just because you don't have like a big giant audience, or it's like you can kind of slip, or a niche, like you probably do have a niche. Like if you go look at your analytics, there's probably a
Mm.
niche with inside of there. Either it's an age range, it's a demographic, like location, or something like that. Like there's some kind of niche that's listening to your show. There's some kind of niche that listens to Joe Rogan's podcast, even though you would say
Right.
on the outside, this guy doesn't have a niche. He has a niche, and he is able to sell sponsorship deals based upon that niche, not just his numbers. I would guarantee that's part of the conversation. And that's the same thing with any type of content creation. You got to really figure out how to package it as well. Like on our podcast,
Yes.
it wasn't all about numbers, and we never talk about numbers. First of all, we always talk about people. We always talk about how many people are watching or listening to the show. Because if you go to a marketing director and you go, well, I got 500 downloads per episode in 30 days, they're
Mhm.
going to be like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, we have my little niece has 12 million from shaking her booty on TikTok. Like, what are you talking about? It's like that's gonna be the conversation. So you really got to talk about the people, the quality of the people, and then also positioning your podcast packaging. It's like, what are you selling? Like for you, John, like you have video, you have audio, you have a website. I mean, you do a really great job on social media. Like you have all these different things where a logo can be attached, where a message can be attached. And so a lot of podcasters are one dimensional. I got the show. What's the numbers? What's the downloads? Well, I didn't pitch that. I said, hey, whatever my show gets promoted on, you're with me. You're my sponsor. You're going everywhere I'm going. If I'm going on the internet, you're going. If I'm printing a billboard on the side of the street, which I wouldn't recommend, you're going. It's like they're going everywhere. And also compare your podcast to a traditional advertising model. Traditional advertising model says, John, I'm going to charge you $500 for this newspaper ad. Well, depending on that newspaper ad has a shelf life. Is that a week? Is that a day? What is that?
Right.
That's going away. Well, on our show, we said, hey, we're going to bake everything in, and then podcasts traditionally will get listened to again, like older episodes. They'll go back and listen to our catalog, and I could have proved it on that show at any point in time. People are searching for information, so they go back and listen to those older episodes. And so when we bake it in, you're now getting into the show in perpetuity, forever, on those old episodes until the show goes away. And I overcame, several like marketing, like what's your CPM rate? I don't do a CPM rate. If you want me to, I'm happy to do so, but then I'm going to have to charge you every single month for the life of my podcasts for every single download that ever happens in perpetuity. If I charge you a CPM model, or I can charge you this one flat rate. It's a premium rate. I understand, but you pay one time for a lifetime ad spend. Name one advertising company that does that. Not one.
You're a genius. I didn't think of that. I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, that's really great because I tried to stay away from baked in promotions, baked in ads, and because it's there forever. And the host I use, Buzzsprout, they have the dynamic audio before. They have pre-roll and mid-roll ads that you can insert, and you could change those whenever you want. So.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty.
I mean, it's just one strategy, right? And it's like, now if I had a million people listen to my show, I'm totally doing CPM model. I'm totally I'm selling the whole catalog every time. I'll put you in the entire catalog, past, present, and future. Like, here we go. And then, for 30 days or whatever. And I think if you have a huge audience, that's a really good option. But if you don't, it's like, what can I sell? So how can I package up my show? And then how can I, put, what's the benefit of advertising with me and being a sponsor of my show besides the community, but on the actual, advertising mindset, like what is the value here? And it's like, you're with me forever, dude. So those episodes that boat dealership paid for a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, those are still going to get downloads on YouTube. And I'd argue probably more this year than the year we launched it. And so that ad is right there. That logo is on the screen forever. And it's like, you're not going to pay for that. Facebook's not going to give you forever for one-time ad spend. But that's how you can monetize quickly as a small creator. Now, once you grow and do everything else, you can switch it up. But yeah, that'd be my suggestions.
What? It seems I have a lot to learn, Billy.
Well, dude, this is what happens when you lose a business and you get scrappy in your brain to go like, I got to make some money. I know I have the talent to produce a show, but how do I get paid to do this content? And that was, my content creator journey. That's always been the thing. It's like, I'm an entrepreneur first, content creator second. And as long as I keep that prioritized, I've been making, money. Now I'm not making millions of dollars, but I make more money every year than I did the last.
Well, you're the most successful one I know, so
you got to get networked, man. You need to know more people. Out of all the people I know, I'm like the bottom. I'm looking up to those guys. You gotta hang out with cooler people.
So I know that speaking of being an entrepreneur and putting the business first, it's kind of like you set a goal of becoming an Amazon influencer because you've seen the capabilities and the possibilities of being successful and making not a crap load of money, but a decent amount of money, making a living out of it. And so I know from following you, I know that what you did was it was an uphill struggle for you to get accepted into the Amazon influencer program. Because they require a certain amount of followers. So talk about the uphill battle, by trying to get all those followers on. I think you did Instagram, right?
Yeah, that's right. And so this was, I think, a little over maybe 2 years ago, something like that, a year and a half, 2 years ago. And it was a little different than it is now. Now, I don't think there's like a threshold of follower count. I think it is just like engagement. I think they really want to see a high engagement rate and probably some other stuff that makes it a deciding factor, like activity or something. I don't really know. Like they don't really say, do these 5 things and you'll get accepted. The idea of the influencer program is to bring on people who are influencers from social media to be a part of the program, to be influencers on Amazon. And so therefore I
Right.
wasn't really a traditional quote unquote influencer, and actually hated that word for a long time. I was like, oh, those people you see out in the public, like just staring at themselves, making duck lips. Like, I don't want to be known as that person. But
Right.
when I learned,
Why not? There's nothing wrong with that. Hang on. There's nothing wrong.
no, do you, whatever you need to do. I just didn't want to be that guy. I don't want to twerk
Yeah.
on TikTok, And so,
Yeah.
so I learned about the program, being in a clubhouse room, talking about podcast sponsorship deals. And then my friend Monty Weaver, my friend Chris Giles, and a couple other people were like, hey dude, you should check out Amazon. You can go live, talk about products, stuff you already own, on Amazon Live, and then get paid when people watch the show and buy the product. And I'm like, that's crazy, dude. And they're telling me they're making thousands of dollars a month doing this. And so I quickly ran to apply for the Amazon influencer program. Denied. And at that time, they told me like you got to have 2,000 followers on on social, and I think I had like 800 or something on Instagram. And I'm like, dang it, this is crazy. So, dude, I worked my tail off for months, like 3-4 months, just on Clubhouse. Like, hey, I'm trying to get approved for this program. Like, somebody just come follow me. And at that time, Clubhouse didn't have any like back chat, none of that crap. Like none of, they didn't have anything. So you had to go to Instagram to talk to people and chat with people. So it made it a little bit easier. And so then I get to 2,000 people after a few months. And then it's like, I apply, declined. What? You got to have 2,500 people. So they upped the threshold. So I was like,
man.
okay, 2,500. Because back then you just typed in how many you had, and then it would like go check it. So I typed in 2,500. It's like approved. I'm like, okay, let's go. And dude, so
There you go.
And then I eventually got there, but I kind of lied on that little application. But then I got in and started creating content, and they do a manual review after you're in. So it wasn't like I cheated the system completely. And so anyway, man, I went in, I started doing the work, and started figuring out like what is Amazon Live, what are shoppable videos and all that. So that's how I kind of got in. But yeah, dude, that to get the audience I needed was a struggle. And still 2 years later, I think I'm only at like 3,200 followers on Instagram, probably way less engagement now than back then because I'm not doing as much over there. But yeah, man, it's a grind. Anybody says like growing on social media is easy, I'm like, maybe for you, but not for me. I suck.
Yeah, no, it's hard. It's very hard, because I know I post content every day.
Yeah.
And it's an uphill battle. But do you have to maintain the followers?
I think
to stay in the program?
I think once you're in, you're solid. So how it kind of works, and just to give somebody an idea if they go apply. So first of all, you go just Google apply for Amazon influencer program. You'll find a link somewhere. Then you apply. I believe they're going to look for like engagement. So it'll tell you automatically if you're accepted into the program or not. And then, but what that means is once you're accepted into the program, they're going to give you access to like a storefront. So now there's 2 different programs. You got Amazon Associates, which we're probably all familiar with. It's been around for a long time. So it's their affiliate marketing. So almost anybody can go sign up for it, get approved, make sure you have all the terms of service met and go like start posting links on your social profiles, your blog, your YouTube channel, and drive traffic to Amazon. So that's called offsite traffic. Well, you have to have one of those accounts to apply. So make sure you create one of those, then apply. And if you get it accepted, then you get a storefront. So what the storefront's going to allow you to do is kind of curate like a list of products, so like wish list. So like I have like podcasting gear, music gear, whatever, and I can create my own little storefront right there, and then I can send people to that storefront if I want to. Now that's once again I'm bringing offsite traffic onto Amazon. Well, then they have and I'm going to say this as quickly as I can, but they have live shows. So then once you have the storefront access, you now have live show access. So from your phone or from your computer using a stream key, you can go live onto the Amazon platform, talk about whatever it is on your desk. So I can talk about this remote control for my light. If they sell it on Amazon, then I can put in like 40 products into a carousel and just go live and talk about these products. If people are watching live and they buy, then I get a commission once the product ships. So that is one way to monetize Amazon. The second way, go ahead.
I'm going to start looking into this. Sorry.
Yeah, you should. You should. And then the second way is called shoppable videos. Now, this is very interesting because on Amazon, if you go on an Amazon listing and you look up Shure SM7B, I know that they're on there, and you'll see a carousel down the side of videos or photos, and then you'll see a play button with the video. You click on that video, it's going to open up another window, and it's going to have probably the brand stuff on one side, and it's going to have influencer stuff, and then like customer videos. Well, the influencer videos, if it says like related videos, I think if you watch one of those and then you make a purchase, the last video you watch gets a commission from that microphone. And so
no way.
That's called shoppable content. And that's what I primarily focus on every single day. And then the last thing is photos. So you can post photos as well. And those will show up on those listings and other places.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So there are multiple streams of income you can actually do from Amazon. It's not just one thing.
Yeah, 100%. And the stream that I make the most amount of money on is nothing to do with Amazon. I mean, it is, but I leverage Amazon's platform to make videos for Amazon sellers. And then I post those videos. So what happens is someone sent me this smartwatch. So somebody will reach out to me. They'll say, hey, can you make a video of my smartwatch? I look at it and go, sure. They go, okay. I go, well, hold on. It's $50. And they're like, okay, cool. So they send me the product. I do the video. I upload it to my account. It goes to the product page. Typically, Amazon has full control of placement, which it's not always guaranteed. But typically, it'll go to the product page, and then I can earn commission off of that. Well, then I send that product link to the brand or to the rep or whoever I'm working with, and then they send me $50. And then, so I make $50 up front. I keep the product that I then sell on Whatnot or somewhere else, and then I make residual commission potentially off of the Amazon platform.
Wow. So see, that was my next question. Okay. Like, are companies just sending you products to review, or are you actually buying these products?
Yeah, dude, I'm not buying anything.
Wow, that's amazing.
So you can review anything as long as it's available on Amazon. I don't care if you bought it from Walmart, Target. I don't care if you picked it up at a garage sale. You can do a video about it. And it can be all kinds of videos. It can be an unboxing, a demo, a first thoughts. I've had this mic for 5 years. This is, whatever you want it to be. It doesn't really have to be a full YouTube demo. Like, the production value over there is the threshold is very low. Like, you don't have to create a YouTube style video. Now, if you show up like I show up, so I show up like this. And so if I'm doing a watch video, I'm talking about the watch, obviously it's out of the box. And then I'm like, today we're going to talk about the smartwatch. XYZ company sent it over, compensated me to make this video. Bam, I switch over here. I do a top down shot. I demo the thing. I switch back over here. Hope that helps. Bam, video's done. And I do this 135 times a month last year on average.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of details with inside of my business model, but the thing is I always do stuff in threes for whatever it is. It's a trifecta: brand deals,
Mhm.
which is when people send me the product. That's my number one objective. I want to build those relationships and maintain them because I can get free product, I can resell the product to make money, and then I can also get residual commission off of that. So the con here, and this is like a little master class, but the con is a lot of these products you don't know the name. When's the last time you saw this name ever on a watch? You never have. You've never heard of it. So people aren't probably going to Amazon to find this type of. It's not like the Apple Watch. They're not like going and typing in the
Right.
name of it. They're just kind of finding it. So the sell through, you're not going to make as much on the Amazon commission side, but it's more scalable because Amazon, one, you can do more videos, you can charge more money, so you can scale up those two ways. But then Amazon will move stuff around like any other business. So one day you'll have all your videos on a carousel, and I got 2,400 of them. The next day they'll remove an entire carousel. So I went from making,
Oh,
over $100 a day from Amazon commission to this month I'm making $70 a day. So it's like
okay.
I wouldn't really put all my eggs in that basket. So that's why I do all the brand deal stuff. So yeah, it gets
Wow.
convoluted pretty fast, but there's a lot of strategy to different ways of making money with the program.
So, uh, like, what is it like? I mean, as far as the products go, like, people just, once you join the program, people just send you products, or do you have to call up these companies and say, hey, send me your product and I'll promote it on my Amazon page?
Yeah, great question. So once you first start making videos, I would make videos of everything on my desk, everything in my house, and make them the best quality that you can be. And the reason why I get so many brand deals is because I make really good quality videos. They look good, they're
Mm.
quick turnaround. I can make, very detailed quality videos. But they don't take me a lot of time just because of my workflow, my setup, and all that stuff. But then what happens is there's several different ways you can go live and get brands' attentions. You can get into some of these Facebook groups that they're in and get their attention that way. And that's what I did early on. I reached out to a lot of sellers that were in just different Facebook groups who needed these types of videos. And so once you get 5 or 10 reps and you start putting out more content, the beauty is if I do a light remote like this and I do the
Mhm.
video, well, this shows up on related product pages. So the competitor of this remote manufacturer is now seeing my video on their page and they're going, huh, I don't have that video. I need one for my product. This guy did a great job. And then they reach out to me and say, hey,
Ah.
can you do this video? And this happens all the time. It happens with portable monitors. I get portable monitors, solar power stations, electric scooters, but then I'm also doing like fingernail clippers and like all kinds of other random stuff. And there's a strategy to picking product and approving product and in different things based on resale value, how easy it is to make the product video, because my business, the way that I've set it up is a frequency model. So it's low ticket, high frequency. So I'm not charging a
Okay.
ton for the videos, but I'm doing a ton of videos and I'm getting product and I'm reselling it. So over the last year, I resold over 1,100 products on an app called Whatnot. So it's like a secondary
Right.
eBay meets Twitch. And so I created an account over there, sold over 1,000 products, got about 2,600 buyers that follow me on that platform. And so I was really
Wow.
able to create additional content and grow a whole different community, different than what I'm doing on any other platform.
Wow. That's amazing,
I've
man.
been busy.
This sounds like such a great deal. It's such a good business model, I think, because you, like, even if you wanted to, you can stick to one specific niche, let's say, like podcasting, and you can only sell podcasting gear or fishing. Like,
Yeah.
have you gotten any fishing gear out of
No,
this?
dude. I mean, I've gotten some, but it's not a lot. And really what I do, I mainly focus on like electronics now, just because the resale value is so high. It's like it's way
Right.
better than most stuff that I can get. But, like for instance, this month the Samsung Galaxy S24 came out, the new
Mhm.
Android phone. And so I don't have that phone. I'm an Apple user. But a company reached out to me
Right.
and said, "Hey, can you do a video about our phone or case and the phone case?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I can. I don't have the phone." And they're like, "Oh, sorry, you can't do the video." And I was like, "Well, hold on. Do you need the phone?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to go buy a phone to make a $20 video or whatever." So I
Right.
said, "Well, why don't you send me a dummy phone?" Why don't you send me a non-working dummy phone? I know you have them. You're the manufacturer of a case. And then I'll
Sure.
do the video with the dummy phone. And they're like, yeah, cool. So they send me a dummy phone. Well, I not only do their video, well, now I've done probably 50 other cases. So I made over $1,000 this month making videos with one dummy phone and a bunch of different cases. And this is like from a
Wow.
bunch of different manufacturing companies. So there's a lot of ways to scale and to do this, this business model. But I know other people, man, they'll do, and I'm sorry I'm talking so much, but that's what I'm
No, go
pumped
right
about it.
ahead.
But there's other people in my community where they'll do no brand deals. They'll totally just focus on Amazon, which I think is a little bit risky. And there's reasons, for that, of like removing carousels and all that stuff. But they'll just do 10-second videos, everything. Their house, their mom's
Mm.
house, grandma's house, Airbnbs. They'll go, I don't know. I mean, there's some sketchy stuff that goes on, but they're just kind of rocking and rolling, and they'll put up thousands of videos and make $40,000-$50,000 in passive income while still doing their other content creation or business or whatever. So it's pretty crazy. It's a good opportunity.
Bill,
It's a good opportunity.
I think Billy, I think you've opened up a new door for me.
Dude, run through it, my friend.
I'm gonna try to get there. I really am. What's the craziest product that any company has ever sent you? Do you have like a crazy product?
Man, I don't know. I mean, somebody did send me like a $3,000 power station, like a solar charger power station, like big battery bank. That was pretty crazy. I've gotten some really cool electric scooters. Sometimes you'll get like weird stuff. It's like a pencil sharpener that doubles as like a phone charger, that doubles as like a shaver for your face or something. Like you get weird stuff like that on occasion.
Like who makes this stuff? Like,
Dude, I'm telling you, and every time I think like, oh, this is gonna slow down, like there's no way there's new product. There's always new product. There's always new sellers.
Right.
And even if I make, like, there's always new phones. So like this iPhone 14 Pro, I made a bunch of phone cases. Well, there's going to be a 15, there's going to be a 16, there's going to be an 18, there's going to be a 20. It's like,
right.
it's just going to keep going. And if you're here to make the videos, then you're going to have a business.
It kind of reminds me about the business model like I grew up hearing my parents talk about, where you want to get a job in a business that's not gonna die, that people need, that's never gonna go away, kind of thing, like taxes and death, and and I think that Amazon is not only is it here to stay, but it's proved, I think, that you can make a living off of doing these product videos, and it's totally amazing.
Well, and I think the cool thing too is like it's an industry. It's not just a platform. So it's like,
Right.
now, and I'm not playing in all these spaces because I don't have the qualifications, but on TikTok Shop launched. So they have TikTok Shop, which if you're a seller, you can go create a shop and sell over there. But if you're a content creator, they get a creator program, and they're paying crazy amounts of commission, somewhere between 10 and 50% commission, depending on the product, depending on the brand. Now, the brands really, from my understanding, aren't paying creators to make the video because they're paying such a high commission. But dude,
Right.
I know people over there are slaying it. So you have that. You have secondary platforms like eBay. So eBay just started their own live stuff. You have Whatnot. So Whatnot's a
Right.
huge live streaming platform to sell. There's another, I can't remember what the other one called, Depop or something. I don't know. There's like several different secondary markets where if you are a content creator and you know how to get in front of a camera and talk and present, and in some cases, some people don't know how to do that, and they're still making a ton of money because they keep showing up. But you can literally, in the secondary market, just go to a yard sale, buy, and I did this. I went to a yard sale, bought a pair of shoes for $2, Nike Air Force Ones, and sold them for $40 on a Whatnot live stream. Do that 50
Wow.
times a week. You got a business.
See, and Gary Vaynerchuk does that all the time. He
Yeah.
goes and buys coffee mugs, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly. So it's a pretty good business, man. It's pretty fun. So yeah, it's a pretty fun business model.
that's amazing. Like I'm seriously gonna try to get into this, okay? And I might fudge my numbers a little bit when I apply, just like you did. So-
Yeah, man. See, well, now what you do is you just sign in, I think, with your account. So
Yeah. Okay, great.
yeah, a little different.
This is seriously worth a try, especially for podcasters and content creators who are already in front of the camera and already have, like, let's say, a YouTube channel. So you're used to, being in front of the camera.
You're
and
gonna
making a
kill me,
video.
bro. I gotta use the bathroom so bad right now. You're gonna kill me. Are we live? We're not live,
Go
right?
ahead. No, we're
Dude,
not.
I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No problem. I guess he had too much coffee today. He has been up since 4:30. That's all right, Billy. You take your time. I'm here. I'm waiting. I love that set. What is that, a ukulele? His clock always says the wrong time. Every time I see this set, it says 6 o'clock. It's not 6 o'clock. And I can't tell from here, but I wonder if it's Jordans that are on the wall there. That's pretty cool. I think this guy has it, like, he's got it all figured out. Because if you have the followers and you have the passion and the drive to do this, then you could probably make a lot of money. So if you're not an Amazon influencer yet, try to apply. Build up your followers. Do whatever you have to do to get into the program, and try to make some money. This isn't like a get rich quick scheme. It's not like, hey, give me $500 and I'll tell you the secret sauce. No, it's not. Just apply to the damn program and get it done. And you can make some extra cash this month. That is a cool looking ukulele. What is that, an owl next to that? I gotta get me a chandelier. I want a chandelier.
20 minutes later.
I'm so sorry, dude.
That's fine.
Oh,
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Crushed me. I'm sorry, dude. Hey
man, it happens.
You have my full permission since you have to edit stuff now. You have my full permission to use that any way that you want. If you need to use that as a transition, you're totally fine. Whatever brings
That's fine because
value.
I was talking about your set while you were gone. I was trying to keep it going. So.
Dude, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh.
No problem, man. I've done it. I remember with this one time I was on a show where they literally, like, in order to be on the show, you had to have alcohol. You had to drink.
Oh my gosh.
On the show. So I think by the, like, halfway through the show, I had something like 4 or 5 beers, and beer just goes right through me. So I'm like, you guys gotta wait. I gotta be right back. Like,
I'm glad I'm not the only one. But
yeah, no, man, it happens. Don't worry about it. Oh man. All right. Yeah, man. So, it's kind of like the Amazon influencer program seems like such a great idea for basically any content creator to make some, not only extra cash, but to just turn it into a side hustle, to turn it into a career, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And I think it's that, I think like any of this stuff, like we talking about like live streaming, shoppable content. The thing about it is people who are spending, thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars developing product, they need the people like us to be able to show it, share it, see how it works. And that's the cool thing about Amazon is, like, you get on there and start shopping and you see a lot of 3D renders. And then a lot of those companies are Chinese manufacturers, so they don't have the personnel to really get on and in English. They can speak English, but it's not the same as, like, I'm here telling you about this type of product. Yeah. And so it's kind of an interesting approach where it's like, because you'll see those 3D renders of like a car, phone holder or something like that for your car. And you're like, what does that look like? But when I can bring it on screen and say, here's what it does, here's how it moves, here's what it's made out of, it's metal, it turns, it twists, it sticks, it's like, then you're like, it's just that confidence as a buyer to go, oh, okay, yeah, I can see that, I can buy that. And that's the thing too. Like people often, and some people love this, and some people hate me for this, but they're like, you're just doing all kinds of product videos, blah blah blah. Like you're just getting paid to do the videos. But I'm not coming from a position of like I'm creating a YouTube channel and getting paid and doing this big detailed elaborate video. I'm literally pulling stuff out of a box most of the time, saying this is what it feels like, this is what it looks like, and here's how it works, and that's it. And like, I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not telling you not to buy it. Obviously, if you buy it, I make money, and that's great. But if you don't buy it,
you're telling them to buy it, Billy.
I don't care. Yeah, buy it. Don't shop on Amazon without looking at my page first, okay?
That's right.
That's right. But I mean, that's a cool thing too, because here's what you can do with these videos. Now you create all this content. So I've created 2,450 something pieces of content for Amazon. Well, now I can take that content and repurpose it to YouTube, link it all up, and then have offsite traffic coming to that. So if somebody is looking, you got to get better with titles, and it takes a little more time and all, and that's the reason why I haven't done it. But I need to get somebody on my team that's really, savvy with YouTube, and just go put these demo videos out there and then drive traffic that way. So, and that pays more money.
Awesome.
That type of offsite stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man. A lot of opportunities, but, and I think as a content creator too, is like, use your skill set. How can you serve different companies? You might even be able to be a podcast host for somebody who wants to create a local business podcast or a local show for their business, but they don't have the skill set to do it, and they just want to like sponsor a show and have their name all over it, and have you wear their hat and t-shirt and talk about pizza and eat, whatever. That might be an option as a talent, So I think there's a lot of ways to make money as a content creator, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, especially me being here in New York, I might start going to pizzerias and saying, what's the best pizza in Brooklyn? So yeah, I might start doing that.
Dude, I mean, and that's the thing, man. It's like, and here's the cool thing about being a content creator is like, you don't have to be just one type of content creator. Like if you look right now, I'm doing a behind the scenes. People are watching a live stream of just me talking on mute to you. Like, I hope mute based on some actions that have happened during this show. I hope it's muted. No, but it's muted. So now I'm like doing this live stream behind the scenes. I'll do unboxing videos of Amazon products that I'm going to make videos about. I'll do a live selling show where I'll sell stuff, live of the stuff that I get. I'll do like calls with other content creators to share strategies. So I'm creating all this different types of content, and no one's really saying, well, I thought you're a real estate agent. Why are you trying to do this or that, or whatever. It's like, no, I'm a content creator. I can do all this stuff because I can turn on the camera, I can talk to it, and I got a nice microphone, or whatever.
I can do what I want.
I can do anything. I can come on John's show and have a lot of fun and goof off. So
that's right.
So yeah.
Right.
Anyway, man,
Speaking of goofing off,
I'll talk forever about this stuff, dude. I love it. It's a lot of fun.
All right, Billy. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today. I know you have turned me into trying to be an Amazon influencer.
Let's go.
I think it's going to happen.
Well, dude, reach out to me anytime. I'll love to help you out, man.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Everybody, you can see Billy. If you follow Billy on Facebook, he's live all the time. Okay. And he's all over social media. But if you want to buy things that he's selling, head on over to dealbilly.live. Okay, he's got his own website, and go check it out. All the links to everything we spoke about today is down in the show notes. Billy, you have anything you want to promote specifically?
No, man, I don't think so. I'm pretty bad at the promotional stuff. So no, just follow me. I'm always doing something, and if you have any questions about the influencer stuff, reach out to me. I would be happy to help you.
There you go. All of Billy's links will be down in the show notes. And, of course, if you want more episodes of The Basement Surge, head down to the show notes or go to basementsurge.com. It's over there. Billy, thank you again very much for your time. I know you're a busy guy.
Thank you, man. Anytime. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
All right, everybody. I'll see you next time. Billy, hang out in the green room until after. Hang on.
Let's go. Turn up the volume. Tone the bass. basement of the Empire State. This is the Basement Surge.